Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. We're glad to have you here today. And we're going to take a photo journey with Chuck Eklund here in just a minute. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are meeting on the ancestral homeland of the Puget Sound Coast Salish people, the people of the clear salt water, the Suquamish people, who have lived on these waters and the adjoining lands of the Salish Sea since time immemorial. We are learning from them about stewardship of these lands and waters, and we are grateful for their hospitality. Also, we're grateful to Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, which offers sponsorship of Something to Talk About. Fieldstone offers independent and assisted living along with memory care up on Rolling Bay. They have a beautiful campus up there right around the corner from Bay Hay and Feed. They offer day stay and respite programs as well as residential programs. And they have a lovely bar and grill, which they'd love to have you come and sample for free. Take a tour, call Celia or Jamie, 206-594-1010. Check out their website at fieldstonecommunities.com. So, Chuck, before I pop up the pictures, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what your theme is this month.
Okay. I'd also like to do some thank yous. Thank you to the Senior Center, and especially to Reed, who is just like a member of the club. He takes such great care of us. So thank you, Reed. My theme is almost monochrome. When I started in photography, it was I was in high school, and I had a Brownie Hawkeye at home sometime, which I never used or used very seldom. But I was in journalism class, and our advisor suggested that we had a great newspaper, but we had no pictures in it. It would be better if we had pictures in it. And my high school was built on or adapted on an old VA hospital. And across the hall from the journalism room was a dark room. And actually, it had a couple of enlargers and trays and tongs and had all kinds of stuff to allow you to start to use a dark room. And I went to the school library, got some books on how to develop film and how to develop prints. And I used my money that I'd saved up from my paper route, and I bought a very beat up 35 millimeter camera, a Nikon S. And I lusted after an S2, which had a 1,000th of a second speed instead of just the 500th, but it was enough. I rolled my own film, and then when the class started, the paper started to pay for it, I got film, Kodak black and white film, learned to develop it. So that's how my interest started in photography. And it started, of course, in black and white, because that's the only thing that I could develop and use at that time. So black and white, and when digital photography came in, kind of fell into disuse, even though people could easily change a color picture into black and white. We were also fascinated with it. And it became something that was used only to correct badly exposed pictures or pictures that needed a lot of help. But I've always had a vast affection for black and white monochrome pictures. And I have, along with that, an affection for monochrome pictures that have a little bit of color in them. So that's what most of my pictures are today, but it's a little bit of a cheat. It allowed me to put in almost anything I wanted to. So I'm ready if you are.
Okay, yes, I some of these because they're so they have like just a little bit of color, make me think of colorization. Um, which, there was a period there where there was just black and white photography, and then people would colorize the pictures. But here's the first one. Are you seeing it?
I'm seeing it, but I'm also seeing probably a square that has all of us in it.
Okay. Let me see if I can hide that. Thank you. Is this where? Oh, here's the little button. Is that better?
That is better. Little tiny
I,
square up above, but it's fine.
yeah,
Good.
that's all I can do. I think I need to, it
Yeah,
used to not do that, but it's doing it now. So
it's probably
I'll
an
learn about
improvement
that.
of some kind.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see most of the pictures, and the pictures are on display in the atrium in the lobby of the senior center too. So you can uh, come and visit this month.
So this is the Yakina Head lighthouse, and it's probably I've taken more pictures of this lighthouse than almost anything in Oregon, especially considering that
Oops.
I don't live there. Whoops. Okay, there we are. And in this case, this is kind of after I took the picture, I took it because the light was, I really liked the kind of the yellow cast of the light that evening. And when I started to look at it, it kind of reminded me of Andrew Wyeth paintings. Not that I'm calling myself Andrew Wyeth, but that kind of appealed to me, and so it's my salute to Andrew. I took this in the Painted Hills in Oregon, and most of my pictures that I took that day were of what makes the Painted Hills called the Painted Hills. It's formations of rock that come off as um, in a vast arrangement of colors that you really don't expect to see. But as the day got a little bit darker and we got ready to move on, the light went down, and I took this picture, and it has again it's mostly sepia, and I really like the feel of it.
Atmospheric. It's a good picture for today, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. We were in Paris walking along a back street, and probably like everybody, um, I take pictures of buildings that I probably never look at again and aren't that interesting, but just because they're there. And the buildings, this is in Paris and on a back street, and the building is very monotone, except for this one woman who is, I believe, probably was cleaning the house and came out to take a break and added just that tiny bit of color to the upper left-hand corner of the picture. If I'd been really alert, I would have put her on a third, but I just grabbed the shot. And it kind of reminds me of an old trick that I remember reading about that National Geographic did. National Geographic would always try to put red, this is almost red, color in a lot of pictures because red catches people's eye and makes them look a little bit deeper into the photo. So we'll have to do with kind of a, whatever that color is, maroon, I suppose.
Yeah, it breaks the symmetry just right, Chuck. She really adds a lot to the photo. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do too.
I feel like although, it's not centered, but and so it offers some interest there. And of course, that way you also get to see the sense of um, sort of the rail car effect of all these windows. It's also fascinating the difference between the different levels and how, although they are mostly monochrome, there's also color on the upper level where she is, where the sky is reflected.
Yeah, a little bit of blue. It's also to me it tells a little bit of a story. You have to look at it and wonder what she was thinking. And this is the upper floor of the building. There was another floor below the bottom um, windows, and I would guess this is probably the ritzier apartments, maybe, because it has an outside area where you could set up chairs, or I don't suppose the French would ever barbecue like us, but you could you could do something out there. So this is the Danube at floods. Um, level flood stage. And we were traveling, we were in Budapest, and the river was flooded. So we were on a river cruise, which was brought to a halt because you couldn't fit under a lot of the bridges. But this is right up to the covering the road. You can see the street lamps there, and the colors were kind of interesting, and the situation was interesting too. And I forgot the name of that church in the background, but that's prominent also, and that's the main bridge in Budapest. How you get between Buda and Pest, actually. So this is a heron, and it's one of the things that strikes me about herons is their grace when they're standing still, and their lack of grace when they move. But again, this is mostly monochrome with just a tiny bit of color in its bill. And this is over in Battle Point Park, close to where we live. So I put in a couple of before and afters. I was inspired by the work of a fellow club member, Norm, who put in a whole bunch of before and after examples. So this is the before. This is an owl in our front yard that was actually, I would have never seen it, but our daughter who was over visiting heard a kerfuffle going on in the front yard. And it was this guy and another owl upsetting the local crow population. But this is my first picture ever of an owl, and I was so excited, never having seen an owl or taken a picture of one, that it was pretty important to me. And although it's okay, the background competes with the owl a lot. So if you move on to the next one, if I take out a lot of the color, I get rid of a lot of the, especially the green, I get rid of a lot of the green, and the owl basically is kind of a monochrome. A barred owl is mostly a monochrome bird, and I like this one better, and it has less competition.
How you look like you're like the owl is fairly far down the tree. It's a pretty straight on shot.
Yeah, it's a yew tree, and it's got a lot of low branches, and the owl was pretty low. And it, like most owls, when you're taking pictures of them, they don't leave. They stand there and look at you. I don't know whether they want you to make connections with their agent or what the deal is, but they're curious enough that they hang around to see what it is you're doing. And I think this was a fairly young one, so he was probably more curious. So this is decanted wine. And I took this picture in a restaurant, actually in Budapest, but I took it in a restaurant in Pest, part of Budapest. And I believe the waiter there told us that the restaurants in Pest are much better than the restaurants in Buda. It was probably self-serving, but I liked the way this looks, so I took a picture of it, and it was decanted wine before it was poured into the glass. And when I was looking at the picture, I liked the lack of colors, but there's a lot of spots of past wine that was in the bottle. What's it called? What's left over in a wine?
I don't know. I
when
never have any left over.
no, no, not the wine. I wouldn't expect you to have any left over. But at the bottom of the wine bottle, sometimes
Oh,
you
like
have
sediments? Sediments?
sediment. There you go. There were pieces of sediment along the side. And when I first looked at it, I'm in this crazy cleanup mode. You know, maybe I should clean those up. But then I decided, you know, they actually add something to the picture for me. And we drank them anyway. So
Well, I just love the lines of this one, and I think just the basic shapes and the simple lines is elegant. So thank you for showing this one because I really like it.
yeah, thanks. And I didn't mention at the beginning, the thing I like about monochrome and mostly monochrome is the simplicity that it brings to an image. Yeah, this is one that probably even Rob could live with.
What I like about it is the shapes are so soft that the whole thing is like varieties of liquid. The glass has these little shadings or whatever in it that look like a lava lamp probably. I mean, it just
Hmm.
has this very liquid feel to it that is maybe enhanced by the way that the I don't know the contrast or whatever that you've set up, but there's a lot
And
going
as I
on
remember,
there.
yeah, as I remember, the wine was okay, but not compared to West Coast wines. So we had a club theme of doing an advertisement, and we bought this tea kettle, which is outrageously priced, actually, in Coeur d'Alene when we were visiting some friends. And I liked the way the tea kettle looked instantly. And I liked the word SMEG, which stands for something in Italian. And I can't remember exactly what it was. But SMEG was also a dirty word on a British science fiction comedy show back about 25 years ago or so. So if you wanted to insult somebody, you would call them a smeg, or you would smeg them. So it was just appealing all the way around. And although this is a big blotch of color, the picture is mostly monochrome. So I think it brings even more attention to the tea kettle. Tea kettle is about the same as a $19 tea kettle you'd get at Costco, but it's pretty elegant.
Well,
And go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say the red dwarf reference is wonderful, though.
I was going to mention that it's always nice to have furnishings that have inside jokes, so you can just chuckle by
Yeah,
yourself.
so Bob, you were saying it was Red Dwarf, right? Was the
Yeah,
program?
yes, that was red dwarf. Loved that show.
And it ran for years.
Yeah,
Yeah. And was taking place, what, a million years in the future or something?
something
So,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. Um, this is in the Palouse, and obviously it's an old Atlantic Richfield station. And I love the building and the look of it and the buildings around there. It's a reminder of when gas was 19 cents a gallon, which what it cost when I first started driving. And it seemed like a lot of money back then. And you oftentimes got a fairly ugly, crinkly gold glass every time you filled up. So it seemed like a pretty good bargain. So for people who kind of cling to the past as being this wonderful economic time, 19 cents a gallon sounds really great. However, 19 cents a gallon then, if it were priced in today's money, would be $3.60 a gallon. So it was pretty dear.
And no goblets at the gas station right now.
True.
And they would check the your oil and as I recall too,
And clean your windows.
clean your windshield.
And
That's
depending
right.
on who it was, they would either do a good or a bad job of cleaning your windows.
And you'd get a Christmas album once a year.
Ooh, now that we missed out on.
Do you remember? You don't remember that? I
No,
remember
I
gas
don't.
stations giving out once a year you could get like, Bing Crosby or something. Anyway, promotions for sure.
Yeah. Well, this one
Now
probably
now
gave
it's
out
just
the good.
$3 or $4 and thank you very much. Pump it yourself.
Yeah. And of course, it's Arco now, not Atlantic Richfield. So, and you do it
Anyway,
all
this yeah,
yourself.
this does this I guess that's masonry. It's much better than concrete block. Or maybe it is concrete block. Anyway, it's a lovely picture of Desolation Row.
So this is the Louvre, and IM pays pyramids, and I call it the genius of IM Pei. I think that pretty audacious to do what he did with the atrium and entry area. And like most things, I think introduced anywhere, people at first were quite upset with it. But over time, obviously, it's become kind of the symbol of the Louvre and very popular. I thought that the colors in the sky and whatnot kind of distracted from the glass pyramid. So this is the before, and then taking some of the color out of it made them more prominent. And I think I also removed some dust spots from my sensor when I improved it. It's very elegant looking, and it looks great from the outside and from the inside.
The mood in between these two pictures is striking to me.
I think it's much better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
He was,
Better.
what a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really emphasizes the pyramids much more the way you've your second photo, Chuck.
Yeah.
Another example of before and after here.
Yeah. Okay, this is an entryway in Austria, and I love entryways and little stairs up to something, in this case, up to a door. But I found the natural colors of the building to be kind of distracting. So taking the color out, for me anyway, helped. And again, kind of a
Agree.
sepia tone. And I also lightened up the door a little bit more in the process. So the passageway up still looks like it's done heavy duty over the years. But the color's not as distracting. So this is the picture that got me thinking about, and I call it almost monochrome. I think, to me, the little bit of earth tones makes the picture. And mushrooms are fascinating to photograph, and they, for the most part, stand still. So they're a great subject. And the brownish color kind of adds an organic, overused word, but an organic element to the picture for me. So this is a picture that I like a lot.
One I used when I was promoting this on our calendar. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you. And I think that's my last one.
This is a lovely collection. Well, I just figured out how to get rid of that thing, but now I don't know if I'll ever get it back. So, something to talk about is what we just did. Anyway, you can always find these under galleries and art in our website. So if you want to go back and look at some of the things that have been posted before, they are there.
Well,
Now let's see if I can
thank you.
figure out how to, there we go.
well done, Chuck. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.